everybody. I'm the host of the Innovator Series, brought to you by Technology for Obama. And I'm here with Myrtle Potter, who's the CEO of Myrtle Potter and Company, and also Myrtle Potter Media, an esteemed healthcare executive prior to starting your own company, and also 3 years named to the Fortune magazine 50 Most Powerful Women in Business. So it's a pleasure to be with you, Myrtle.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So we've talked a bit about the business background and your thoughts on innovation. I'm curious if we kind of do a step back and talk about innovation in America. I think for many people have looked at that's a real competitive strength of this country.
Yes.
I'm curious your thoughts on if you were advising both kind of business executives and government officials, what advice would you give them in terms of the things we ought to be doing as a country to make sure that that continues to be a strength for us?
I think probably one of the single most important things is keeping great education affordable. We all talk about education. We know the importance of education. I think the steps that Washington has taken to make sure that anybody who wants to go to school can go to the school of their choice, I think is absolutely critical. There is simply no way the country will remain at the forefront of innovation unless we can answer this question about the education system.
I know you also, one of the things people talk about has been really kind of healthcare costs, and
Yes.
healthcare costs is kind of a dampening effect in terms of companies CEOs being forced to make a decision about, do I hire people, or what do I provide in benefits?
Yes.
I'm curious, when you look at kind of your own experience running Myrtle Potter and Company and advising companies with respect to how to think about healthcare costs, what do you think we ought to be doing, what executives ought to be doing in terms of approaching healthcare really over the next 5 years?
I think the first thing that executives need to do, quite frankly, is make the commitment, right? It is an easy thing to say no to healthcare when business costs can be such a challenge and when the economy, quite frankly, has been such a challenge. But I also know and understand that when you have healthy employees that understand very well that they're not one accident away from not being able to provide for their families, that you gain in productivity and you gain in your company's ability to perform. So I think fundamentally there's a tough choice that needs to be made. And for me, I made that choice for my businesses. Secondly, I think that with the new legislation that's just been reinforced by the Supreme Court, there are many, many, many new options for any employer to consider if they want to provide insurance to their employees. The states are going to be setting up exchanges. For the states that choose not to do that, the federal government has a path forward to make that happen. So there will not be a situation where anyone in this country will be lacking insurance or lacking the necessary care. I think that is just such a fundamental need that as business owners, you have to recognize the kind of weight that places on your employees when they really don't understand where the next answer is going to come from when it comes to care. And
you really, with Myrtle Potter and Company, are going out and advising people within the healthcare system about how to set up their business to make sure they succeed. Is that correct? I
spend a lot of time in Myrtle Potter and Company helping companies think through the kinds of strategic issues that keep them strong and keep them viable. In the healthcare sector, it's particularly important. We all appreciate the kinds of gains that have been made in healthcare, whether it be advances in caring for high cholesterol or advances in helping with depression or you name it, right? But we also know that these innovations don't happen without tremendous investments, without a strong foundation in your work pool, in your employee base, and also without having the vision for what's possible. So I spend time helping companies think through their big strategic issues, and some of those issues happen to be, how do I handle the growing costs of healthcare in my company?
Yeah, well, that's very interesting. We really appreciate the time, and you're providing incredible service to a lot of companies, so thank you.
Thank you.